Susan Miner. I work in the CMC group, Chemistry, Manufacturing, and Controls. I'm responsible for clinical supplies management, and this is the packaging and labeling of investigational drugs which are going to be used in clinic. You don't have to be intimidated by talking with CEOs and CFOs and PhDs and MDs, and everybody is part of one big team, all working for the same purpose. After I graduated pharmacy school and got into retail and mail order pharmacy, I discovered I had way too much energy to stand in a pharmacy in that small little area in the back every day. Although I enjoyed it, I just couldn't do it every day. I needed more, so I started looking into the pharmaceutical industry, research, and I found that there were so many things that I could do as a pharmacist. So I started in stability, pulling samples off the production lines and labeling, putting them up in various chambers and writing protocols and standard operating procedures. And then I got into regulatory affairs for a little while, and then I stumbled upon clinical supplies. And I found that this was a perfect fit for me because not only did it have chemistry knowledge that you needed for the development of pharmaceuticals, you also needed a clinical background to understand what's going on with the patients and the medications that you're dispensing. So it was a perfect fit. Most of my coworkers in big pharma jobs were pharmacists. There's all different levels, though, of clinical supplies management. You can start at an entry level if you have interest in clinics or chemistries or manufacturings. There's storage, distribution. There's so many different areas within clinical supplies. So any level, all the way up to directors, there's a lot of different jobs to be had. The expectations were exactly as I had planned, the same in other jobs. Clinical supplies brings with it a ton of challenges. Everything is new with new investigational products. There's always new regulations to follow, and you're always striving to meet the new, all the new regulations. So it keeps everything exciting and new. Clinical supplies management is a lot of negotiations with vendors, a lot of mediation with a lot of different people from various countries, because clinical supplies management is global, around the world. So you're talking to people from all over. You have to try to make sure that you have multiple clinical trials supplied with drugs labeled in their particular languages, that you have good patient compliance, that you get the drugs to them, whether it's a cold chain type of distribution or you have to make sure that the clinical supplies give you good patient compliance in with the clinical protocols. I would say my favorite part of the job is just interacting with all the different teams and being part of a team. Being able to see the progression of each clinical trial and the data that comes in, and it's exciting to be part of that. Well, the route I took was pharmacy because I loved chemistry, I loved science. You could go biology, you could go chemistry, pretty much any science field to get started in clinical supplies management. So there's a lot of jobs in industry to be had. I just happened to pick one that combined both chemistry and clinical together.